apparently not only is Dave Filoni mimicking Gandalf's journey, but also the journey of Narnia? Question mark?
Yeah, and
the Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord? I almost said wardrobe.
and no offense, maybe I'm gonna let I'm showing my hand a little bit here, a little early. Apparently, Dave Filoni still doesn't really know how to direct live action.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like there's something either he's not sure about how to do live action, or he's treating it like a longer series than it is. Which apparently there are rumors that there's a season 2 now, and this wasn't a one season pony.
God, I hope not. I flip-flopped so much for me, right? Like when this series started, I was like all over it.
Started very strong.
I was so excited. It's the Disney Plus curse. How many times have I said it? They start off strong. They build this false sense of hope in you. And then you're left with nothing at the end. And then you're like, oh God, no. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
God, no.
Yeah, so like this season, because there's a few places that I've heard that they've like changed from calling it a series to a season 1, and rumors that there's a season 2 happening. And the ending of this episode really makes it feel like there's a season 2 coming. Like a movie's not going to answer all the questions.
Why? You mean because of the fact that it turns out that Ahsoka season 1 is actually a show about nothing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like,
it's a show about nothing.
The big threat posed was Thrawn's return.
Yeah.
And they didn't, I don't know if resolves the right. Yeah, they didn't resolve that because it actually happened.
They spend the entire season setting up Balin and what's going on with Balin.
Nothing
just to do
there.
Nothing with it.
The only thing that got resolved was Ahsoka's master issues, the issues she had with her master and the decisions she made around him.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Movie Men podcast.
We are the B team.
My name's Brady.
And my name is Carl.
And I used to be a Star Wars fan.
I'm still a Star Wars fan. I'm just questioning Disney's and everything they do.
You're just no longer sure why you're a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are here. If you have not already
Disney
guessed,
Star Wars fan.
If you have not already guessed, we are here to finish our Ahsoka series that we've been doing. We're going to review season 1, episode 8. The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. So stupid. The
Jedi, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
It's so stupid.
At any moment, Ahsoka's going to walk past a mid-century North American lamppost and stumble out of a wardrobe.
Yeah.
Into the present day.
Why didn't Santa show up to give them their lightsabers back? Like what?
It's a weird name.
It's so stupid. It's such a stupid name.
Like it doesn't even really connect with, like, if you were to do something like this, usually your story might follow a similar kind of arc.
Yep.
To whatever you're referencing. So, like Ahsoka's arc was in this show very similar to kind of Gandalf's arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think any of the shows were kind of named after a Lord of the Rings reference. I'd have to go back and double check, but I don't think they were. But like this one is very obviously a Narnia reference. But I don't see any Narnia references in the show itself. Did you? I mean,
No.
I don't.
No, it was just someone being cute. It was just someone being cute with the title.
Yeah.
It is literally all it was. And it's someone being cute with the title, and it's this continued thing that we have seen multiple times now, where Disney likes to like the Chronicles of Narnia films were made by Disney.
Yeah.
And so you probably couldn't legally reference Lord of the Rings titles, but they could reference this, and we see this all the time. We see all the time Disney referencing other Disney things on Disney Plus. Right?
Yeah.
It's just this ongoing. It's just this
trying
ongoing
to get you
thing.
to watch.
So, all right,
Narnia.
the episode kicks. Kicks off. We have Grant. What?
I was just gonna say, I don't like. We're harping on the name of the episode. I don't think it's a big deal, but it's still weird.
If it was a shit name to a great episode, then I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But it's a shit name to a shit episode.
Even if it was a great name to a shit episode, it still doesn't change the episode.
No.
Like, it doesn't affect the episode.
So we kick things off, and Grand Admiral Thrawn is talking to Morgan Elsbeth, and Enoch shows... Enoch? Is it Enoch? Yeah, Enoch shows up, and he's like, the cargo transport is complete. I don't know, he sounds like the Emperor now. And
we don't
Thrawn
get
says,
any... Sorry, I'm going to interject here.
Yeah.
This is another thing that kind of... There's no resolution to. Like, Enoch is obviously very interesting character by design, by its design, and his samurai he's the leader. Face. But like, we don't learn anything about him.
No,
we don't learn why he's the captain. We don't learn why he's got a different helmet. You know, like,
no, who is he? What? Nothing.
Yeah,
no. Thrawn says, "Good, very good indeed." And then there's a whole scene there where they're just preparing for their departure. That's this whole first scene.
Yeah. Well, we do get like, he does tell him to dispatch 2 TIE fighters to deal with the Jedi, and Morgan's like, "Why? We're leaving. We already, like, what's the point?" And he's just like, I don't trust Jedi to be alive and not foil my plan. Like, he mentions how a Jedi is the only person that's ever stopped him, that being Ezra dragging him to this godforsaken end of the galaxy, not galaxy, this other universe, in the first place. So like, he's like, I'm gonna just make sure that they never get here.
But does he though? Because here's the thing, and this is stupid thing number 1 of this episode. Stupid thing number 1. I have learned not to underestimate Jedi.
Yeah.
I have a hangar bay with 8 TIE fighters in. Send 2. Just send 2. Right. I've learned not to underestimate Jedi. Send 2 TIE fighters. I have a battalion of TIE fighters. Send 2. What?
Yeah. But he's also got limited resources that he needs to drag with him back to the main galaxy too. Like, he doesn't want to.
But the assumption is if you send 8, 6 come back. If you send 2, none come back, and maybe the job's not done.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. That was. I don't know what that was. Anyways, the sisters show up. The mothers. The den mothers, the great
mothers.
The great mothers show up, and they're like, "Sister, blah blah blah, you've done well," and they are wanting to reward Morgan Elsbeth for her faithfulness, for the fact that she was in tune enough with the dark ways that she was able to hear their voices through the Force, through the galaxies, and complete the mission. right? To show up and save the day. And so they're like, we are going to bestow a gift upon you. And she's like, okay, yeah, sick, sweet.
Of shadows.
And I don't know if she knows what she's signing up for when she just stands there or whatever, but she closes her eyes and one of the mothers kind of does some nasty violation things, pushes a little too hard in her eyes with her thumbs, and all of a sudden Morgan Elsbeth
burning, flaming eye.
Yeah, she's got the same black eyes and face tattoos that the rest of these miscreants have all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And no pale skin, but maybe the pale skin
comes with
is
age, probably
yet to come. Yeah. And then they also summon what seems like maybe an important ritualistic weapon.
It does have significance, yeah. So
and then
they call it Talzin's sword. Yeah, and Talzin is Mother Talzin from the Clone Wars series,
right?
And she's like the head of the Witches of Dathomir in the Clone Wars, and she actually uses this sword to fight Mace Windu in the Clone Wars series.
But then they summon it and they give it to the girl who is 2 minutes into the first shift of her new job. Which seems a little weird to me. Like, yeah, they're rewarding her and stuff, but I assume the whole shit they did with her eyes was probably reward enough. The fact that they're giving her now this incredibly important weapon to be her weapon is a little weird, but whatever.
Well, yeah.
And so we see the two TIE fighters take off. It's a cool shot. You see the two TIE fighters, some nice symmetry. You see the two TIE fighters take off in the background on either side of Thrawn. And it's a cool shot. Title card.
Yeah.
Ahsoka. Just in case you forgot.
The sword's also like it's got the green flame. It's force imbued, which well is kind of helps explain why it'll stand up to lightsabers and.
So then, after the title card, we cut back to our heroes, and the little turtle people are migrating. And aboard the ship, Hu Yang is standing around, kind of not being useful at all, watching Ezra craft himself a lightsaber. And not just any lightsaber, but probably the most ridiculous looking lightsaber I've ever seen in all of Star Wars. Like,
why?
It's got this big, ugly, stupid metallic, like, it's just the flares on this thing are ridiculous. He's got a metal what's a metal guard, cross guard.
It's not a cross guard, but it's got a guard on it, kind of, yeah.
Okay, which will do what? Which does what?
No, then it's just an emitter, I think is what he called it.
Yeah, but why have this big, stupid, ugly flare thing on it that presumably is just going to inhibit your ability to be able to twirl it and do all other kinds of cool stuff?
One, it's not that big. It's no bigger than...
It's pretty big.
It's no bigger than
the size of
what you would see on a katana, first of all. And second of all, it's the exact same one as his masters, Kanan and Jarrus.
Which is stupid. It's dumb.
Right. So this is kind of... I think this is great because it kind of... And I think it's great for the main reason that kind of canonically, but never really delved into, masters or apprentices usually create their own lightsabers, but usually their lightsaber has some influences from their master's lightsaber.
Right.
So
kind of like it to show where you came from.
When Luke created his green lightsaber, it looked similar to Obi-Wan's last lightsaber. It had some similarities there. It also had some differences, but it had some similarities, right? It also had some similarities to his first lightsaber that was Anakin's. So this is like he's building this lightsaber, and this is his third lightsaber. So he knows what he's doing. that he's built. And it's like he's building it kind of in a memory of his master. And Hu Yang, like, there's a really he's got no respect for Hu Yang here, right? Because he's never interacted with Hu Yang before. And he's like telling Hu Yang, like, get out of the way. I know what I'm doing. And Hu Yang's like, I've been doing this longer than you can know. I know what I'm doing, and you're doing it wrong. And there's just like this bickering, and it's
using
not
his supplies to boot. It's Hu Yang's workshop.
Yeah, and it's not until Hu Yang brings out this emitter and says, "I knew your master. I saved this. There was only 2 emitters like this ever created. Your master's was one, and I was saving this for him in case he needed it. It seems right that I give it to you."
Yeah,
and
they like ripped off.
At that point, their relationship kind of flips, and there's a respect for each other.
Yeah,
right?
This scene just felt like a ripoff of Harry Potter to me.
Did it?
Yeah, because the whole like Harry's wand,
the wand thing?
phoenix that gave the tail feather only gave one other, and that was Voldemort's.
Yeah, there's some similarities there, but Star Wars has been kind of long before Harry Potter was written. There was which is now Legends, but there was canon that talked.
No,
about,
I know, but I just mean the whole. There's only one other. Like, it was just like, really, in all the galaxy, the only 2 just like this. Okay, yeah, sure. And Hu Yang and so they have a little bit of a discussion there.
Yeah. There's also some stuff with Sabine in there too, which was kind of interesting.
Sabine's kind of standing there watching this whole thing, and smirking. I think she's getting a kick out of the contention between Ezra and Hu Yang, and part of that is probably contention, and part of it is also just enjoying like she's just enamored with Ezra. She's just excited to see Ezra back and listen to him talk, and
the conversation they're having is about the conversation they're having is Ezra kind of talking about how he respects his master. He's building this lightsaber that's similar to his master's. There's Hu Yang is talking about how his thoughts on his and that right now there's still a bit of tension between Ahsoka and Sabine. Which is a master-apprentice relationship, right? So, which is why she kind of leaves without saying goodbye or see you guys later.
Yeah. So then we cut to the outside of the ship where Sabine walks out, and hiding up in the apple tree so that Sabine doesn't know she's there is Ahsoka, just kind of meditating on top of the ship as Ahsoka seems to like to spend more time on the outside of a ship than actually in it.
Jumping out of them, standing on them.
Yeah. And Sabine's just going out to catch some fresh air, right? Maybe have a smoke. And Ahsoka's like, so, you must be feeling pleased with yourself? And Sabine's like, wow, I'm like mostly just like relieved. And Ahsoka's like, well, yeah, your gamble paid off. And Sabine's like, oh, you know about that, huh? Like, you're aware of what I did. And Ahsoka's like, well, yes. And Sabine, I think, is probably expecting a little bit of a reprimanding here. Is expecting
a little bit of a tongue lashing
to get in some trouble. A little bit of she's going to get the strap. And Ahsoka has a surprisingly different attitude towards this. Ahsoka basically says, had you chose differently, we may not be where we are right now. We may not have rescued Ezra had you not done what you did. Not in it was the right choice, but more just so presenting the facts so that Sabine can draw her own conclusions, right? This kind of Yeah, it doesn't say, no, it's good that you did what you did, or I'm glad you did what you did. Just, we have Ezra back, and had events unfolded differently, that may not be true.
Yeah. This also, calls back to Ahsoka's journey that she's taking, because she talks about how in this conversation she says, like, I've made a lot of choices and nobody stuck by me except for my master, and I'm going to do the same for you. You've made choices and I'm going to stick by you despite the consequences of them. Yeah.
So then they start talking a little bit about Sabine's progress in her training. And Sabine talks about how, my lightsaber skills are improving greatly. And Ahsoka informs her that there's a lot more to being a Jedi than simply wielding a lightsaber. And Sabine says, well, yeah, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to, be good with a lightsaber. And Ahsoka says, you need to train your mind. Train your body and your mind. You need to trust in the Force. They share a nice moment here. Yeah, it's just like a real, Ahsoka takes on the role of master there for a minute. And it kind of feels almost Qui-Gon-y to me.
Yeah.
Right? Just this finding those small teachable moments, as Obi-Wan did it too, but Qui-Gon would often just in the heat of battle stop everything to impart some wisdom. Well, and to impart some wisdom, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and there's also a fun little nod to kind of the way Yoda taught students, right? Because Sabine's answer is, I've been trying, I do. Right? Don't try, do.
Yeah. So then Ezra comes running out of the ship like a college frat boy to let them know that his lightsaber's finished, completely disrupting this beautiful moment. And just as that happens, they notice that two fairly manageable TIE fighters, good thing there's not 4 or something, are incoming.
Whole squadron.
Sabine, this is a cool moment because Sabine, I don't know why this stood out to me, but Ezra and Ahsoka jump down because the ship gets hit. And clearly now the ship it's lost its stabilizers and it's going to go down and crush the little turtle people who are apparently incapable of just moving out of the way. And so they go down to simultaneously use the Force as a team, 2 Jedis using the Force to hold up the ship. Stop the little people from getting crushed. And what I thought was cool about this is that there's no... Sabine in this moment understands her strengths, understands the strengths of the team, and instead of getting a blaster out or her lightsaber out or whatever to try to recklessly fight, she heads into the cockpit to help maneuver the ship.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought that for some reason that stood out to me as just this actually cool moment. I don't know that it's meant to be, but... for me, it was oh, that's a nice dynamic. And so Ahsoka and Ezra are holding the ship up. The TIE fighters are coming in. And Sabine, again, in a little bit of yes, yes, what you did worked, but also you're kind of a little bit reckless. You're still Sabine. Is able to get one last little burst out of the ship, fly it forward, destroying both TIE fighters. That seemed like a bit of a gamble.
And the ship.
And flies over a hill and crashes into the ground. Yeah. And both Ahsoka and Ezra go running. As they catch up to Sabine, who's now exited the wreck, she walks towards them, and without saying sorry, without saying oops, without saying now what, looks at them, says, got him, and keeps walking past them. And I thought that was a good moment. That was this is the first time Sabine has felt like Sabine since episode 2.
What's really, I thought was really fun about this was that like they come over the hill and they see the crash ship and they see she's walking away and Hu Yang's kind of standing there like, my ship.
Yeah.
Just like surveying the damage, like, I gotta fix this now.
That would have been good. We cut back to Thrawn briefly, who's been informed that a successful strike was made on the ship. They're aware of the fact that this doesn't mean they're dead, but Thrawn seems to consider this a victory still because it means that the Jedi's options are extremely limited. And the threat mitigation is essentially the game here at this point.
Yeah. So here's a small gripe I have at this point. Before the TIE fighters attack the ship, before they attack them, right? Like, sorry, the end of the last scene, there's a quick conversation where they're like, well, I guess we're not going to be able to get there in time now. And Ahsoka's like, only if we see it that way. And we find out they get some of those howler dog things and they ride them back. But
from who knows where, but whatever.
Well, they have them, right? Because Ahsoka rode one in to save the day a few episodes back, and Sabine was gifted one from Thrawn, which they've...
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, why were they just hovering above this group? Like, why not just like, let's go.
Fly off and do what you need to do.
Yeah, like maybe it's because they were waiting for Ezra to make a lightsaber so he had something to fight with. But like...
I guess. But it's like, what beholdens do they have to these little turtle people? Like, they're not bringing them all with them. So at some point they need to...
If anything, sticking around with them is... You're creating a threat for them. You are bringing the danger to them. If you leave
Thrawn
them, they
doesn't
are
care
safe.
about them.
Yeah,
Thrawn doesn't give two shits about them. Like, he's not going to send off a battalion to go
into
attack
low
them.
orbit somewhere, or go find a cliff overhang to rest your ship. Like, yeah.
So we cut back to Morgan Elsbeth, who now has a battalion of stormtroopers in front of her. And she is basically recruiting a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Right? They are looking for a bunch of stormtroopers who are willing to go and prevent the Jedi from being able to enter the temple. But ultimately that means that they're not getting on the ship.
Yeah.
They're not coming with us. We need people to stay here and secure our departure. We cut back to Hu Yang, who is trying to fix the ship. This also seemed a little bullshit to me with the amount of damage that was done and the circumstances. I don't know how in the next 45 minutes, by pressing some buttons and doing a little bit of soldering within the cockpit, this thing is getting up and flying. It took a massive blaster hit to the outside, and that's what has thrown off the stabilizers. Like, it seems to me like we need parts, and we need welding, and we need a repair bay, and we need... So, whatever.
Yeah.
Just lazy writing.
Yeah. The end of the scene is kind of cool. We see the ring, the light year travel. What do you call it? The ring attack.
The hyperspace wheel.
It's coming to dock with the ship.
Yes,
and
that looks cool.
Yeah. Again, this is another thing, little nitpicky thing. Why didn't they do this earlier? Why did this need to wait until the ship was full of the cargo?
Because writing. Because poor writing.
Like, it just, because writing is like exactly the thing. Like, it would have made more sense for the ring to have docked immediately, and the thing that Thrawn is waiting for is the last coffin to be loaded up.
Yeah.
right? Like,
no, I agree.
As they're rushing there, they're like, oh, we've got a few more coffins to load up here. And even more sense to be like, all right, Thrawn, the calculating guy is like, okay, we can't take them all.
Yeah.
We're at 95%. That's good enough. Let's go.
So then we cut back to Ezra and Ahsoka, who are, and Sabine, who have ridden their creatures. We did a little bit of a time jump or something, or maybe they were actually super close. I don't know. But all of a sudden they're approaching the temple. Thrawn is aware that they're approaching.
Yeah.
And says, rain hellfire on them. And the Star Destroyer starts shooting its belly cannons down, and basically it's just like a minefield. Becomes this big mortar blast all around them. And it looks cool. It's a cool shot. And as they're running towards, and then it gets dumb again. Because then they're riding hastily towards the temple door, because that's where they'll be not safe, but at least safe from the Star Destroyer blasts. And Ahsoka and Ezra are using the Force to try to open the door as they approach. And apparently it's just not quite enough. And therefore they also need the Force abilities of the Jedi, who we have firmly established is probably the least Force sensitive or Force adept Jedi who's ever lived. And so I guess it was a 0.00001% that Ezra and Ahsoka were just not quite strong enough. So Sabine had to jump in there as well in order to make it work. Like, what's going on here? Is Ahsoka holding back to try to create a confidence boosting moment for Sabine, and then Sabine tries, and what Sabine's doing is actually not really doing anything, but then Ahsoka actually tries? No. Because that wouldn't be a good lesson. It's an incredibly inappropriate moment. Like,
so my read on this was that Sabine says she has been practicing. Before they left for this galaxy, Sabine successfully I won't call it a push, but force poked an opponent. So like she's unlocking that ability to use the Force. I took it more at not that like her 0.1% or even just 1% was needed to get the door open, but it was more like her master believes in her, and that even if it's a little bit, she needs to do it. She needs to try. She needs to put her foot forward as well, and to grow in the Force.
Yeah, but
that's the way I read it.
Weird moment. Like,
I took it more as like, okay, Ezra, do your thing. I'm doing my thing. Sabine, you're not going to do anything, but you need to try as well. You need to do. Don't try. You need to do it as well, right? Because if you don't do it, you won't learn. That's the way I kind of took it.
I guess. We get inside, and as we get inside, Thrawn says, "Dispatch the night troopers." Ooh. This is just some fancier looking stormtroopers come in and meet them at the front door, and they have a little bit of a fun little slaughter fest here. Right? Ezra and Ahsoka with their lightsabers, Sabine's rocking the blasters, and they just kick all kinds of ass and fairly easily defeat all of the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
At which point,
hang on. Okay. So this was a cool scene, but it also felt slow. Like this, when the three of them standing together, it felt like kind of, it didn't feel like it was fast enough. It felt a little, it felt staged. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like a natural thing. It looked cool. And one of the breakdown videos pointed out something really cool that, like, kind of watching it back now as we break it down, kind of adds. I think it does add a lot to the scene. Kind of going, oh yeah, that's neat. It kind of when there are three of them they get the wide shot of the three of them blocking blaster fire. You've got in the middle the Master Jedi, and she's like easily twirling and doing fancy crap and blocking everything. And then to her left, you've got Ezra, the Jedi Knight, easily blocking blaster bolts, but not doing anything more than necessary. Like, he's not twirling his blade. He's just like batting them away as they come, minimal movements to save so he doesn't screw up. But then on the left, you've got Sabine, and Sabine's blocking a couple. She's starting to harness the Force, but then every once in a while, one slips through and hits her Beskar armor. She's like, shoot, shoot, right? 'Cause she hasn't had the same training. She's like the apprentice or the youngling or whatever you want to label her as here. So, and at that point, like, once they kind of fall back and draw them out enough, Ahsoka tells her, okay, put your lightsaber away. You're better with the guns. Pull out your blasters. we need you to be helpful here.
And didn't it seem weird that, like, it just kind of felt like the Beskar armor was not doing as much as it normally does? Like, why was, like, I don't know. She seemed to be wincing a lot in pain. Well, having just taken Beskar armor hits. The
Beskar armor still doesn't absorb. It absorbs the damage. It doesn't absorb the impact.
The impact,
right?
Yeah,
so she it hits her shoulder, and her shoulder flies back because of the impact. It happens in Mandalorian too, right? When the Mando gets hit by blaster bolts, he kind of his body jerks in the direction from wherever he was hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway. It was a cool scene. It felt a little off, kind of realizing that, this is kind of a cool showing the levels of the and abilities of Jedi. Kind of cool. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. The Night Sister, the Night Mothers, the witches.
Yeah. So they do a little chant. They cast a spell. I don't know why. I thought the spell sounded lame. Like, this wasn't as big of a dark, crazy, channeling, deep, dark magic moment as, I guess, what it felt like it should. Like, it was just a little lackluster. I don't know.
I feel like there should have been more like green mist or green fire surrounding them or something. Yeah. You get a bit of green showing in the eyes as they rise, but
there just wasn't as much there as it felt like there should have been. But the results of this scenario or this situation is that all of the stormtroopers that had just been cut down come back to life.
No, they're zombie troopers.
Yeah, they're zombie troopers.
Well, okay. So what is this show rated? Do we know? What is this show rated?
I don't know. It is TV-14.
Okay, so that's probably why. But like, why not just cut off all their heads?
Right?
And if cutting off their heads don't work, cut off all their legs. They can't catch up to you if you cut off all their legs.
Or just their arms. They can't do anything.
You've got lightsabers. Lightsabers cut through stormtrooper armor like butter.
Yeah, I don't know. And it looks kind of rinky-dink to me. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Didn't really give the sense of terror that it probably should have.
No. It was just kind of whatever. Like I don't know. I was like, in a moment that could be cool, I think I just ultimately didn't buy it. And also, I think as a result of not buying it, I felt like zombie stormtroopers have no place in my Star Wars. like, I don't know. It just ended up lame to me. Ended up like it didn't fit.
I didn't have a problem buying it because zombie stormtroopers have been a thing in Star Wars for a long time. Like there are legends stories of zombie not zombies because of Night Sister magic, but like because of create some kind of virus, right? There's legend stories of and books of that. But in canon, this is legit. Like in the,
which is fine.
In the Clone Wars, we see it in the Clone Wars. We see it in the Fallen Order video game. Yeah, right. Essentially, all the people you fight on Dathomir in the Fallen Order video game are zombies. So, yeah, I don't have a problem believing it or suspending disbelief. It just felt like it should have been felt. It didn't feel as supernatural and
as it should have,
spooky as it should have.
Yeah. So then they all kind of look at each other and they're like, "Whoa!"
They finally cut the door lock and lock the door.
Yeah, and they turn around and they're like, "Zombies!" And so then they start cutting through the zombies. But this time it's a little more difficult, and they're getting backed up this sort of spirally staircase thing, which reminded me very much of a playable area, I think, in Assassin's Creed Unity. I don't know why, like one cathedral or something. Anyways, doesn't matter. And so the only really cool moment here, like they're able to mostly sort of get away from them temporarily. The cool moment is that Ezra ends up in a little bit of a headlock and Sabine saves him. And she saves him using her lightsaber. And then they get through this door to the other side, they close the door, and they have just enough time to have a little bit of brief dialogue where Ahsoka says, like, "Oh, Sabine's been training. She's been practicing." And Sabine looks at Ezra and says, "Yeah, what's your excuse?" And he says, "I've missed you." Like, it's a fun moment. And so we cut back to seeing the ship is now, or the Star Destroyer is now still in the process of docking with the space ring.
Yeah. Final preparations have been made. Are being made.
And Morgan Elsbeth informs Grand Admiral Thrawn that we are almost ready to depart. And
just a little more time.
Thrawn's becoming a little concerned. He says the Jedi are progressing swiftly, and at this rate, they may, we might not get out of here before they reach us. Yeah. They may be able to get on the ship.
He's not going to underestimate them. He doesn't want to.
And so he tells Morgan Elsbeth that a little bit more time is required, and which I don't understand. He's like, they're catching up to us. They're gonna get on the ship. Let's delay departure. When this whole time he doesn't even care about killing them. The whole time it's been about, as long as we get out of here and they don't get out of here with us, then we're in the clear.
Yeah.
So I don't understand at all why he's delaying this. But whatever. And Morgan Elsbeth says, okay, it's like whatever. But she even pauses like, okay, this guy's an idiot. And they do their whole little for the Empire. And Morgan Elsbeth realizes.
I just realized another nitpick. Okay. It's the same nitpick as before. Like, why didn't they just dock this thing sooner? Why didn't they dock this thing in space?
Right? Why are they doing this on the surface?
As soon as they realized, oh hey, we just downed their ship. Let's get the hell out everything's on board. Let's go to suborbit. We can still be. Let's go 1,000 feet above the ground where they can't get to us and do this thing. Anyway.
Yeah. And so essentially what Thrawn is communicating here with Morgan Elsbeth is that Morgan Elsbeth needs to sacrifice herself, that she's not coming on this trip.
Yeah. She's the one that needs to stall. She's the only one that can.
She needs to stall. And so she heads off to go do that. And we cut back to our heroes who are continuing to run through this hallway, closing doors behind them because they've realized that the doors are not going to hold these stormtroopers, and that
they're smart enough to use breaching charges.
Yes, probably only because they're zombies. I don't know. I don't know. And so then they reach the room that has Morgan Elsbeth in it. And Morgan Elsbeth takes out her magical sword so that she can fight people who have lightsabers. And at this moment, I don't know. To me, just too many people have lightsabers here. Like, I guess they're all Jedi, kind of, sort of. But, like, I don't know. I think I mostly just hate the combination of lightsaber and Mandalorian armor. I don't think it looks cool. I think it's just like, I don't know. It feels like an episode of Oprah back in the day. And you get a lightsaber, and you get a lightsaber, and you get a lightsaber. Like, I don't know.
So, when I kind of, the later not quite at this point, but just a little bit later, I started kind of thinking about Sabine becoming a Jedi, and my thoughts went to, ooh, Sabine could be the next Mandalore. Right?
Uh-huh.
So the original Mandalore was a Jedi, right? He created the Darksaber. He united the Mandalorian clans. He was named Mandalore, and then from that point on, whoever had the Darksaber could rule Mandalore. Yada yada yada. Then, and as far as we know in canon, no other Mandalorian has become a Jedi, except for now. Right? So we've had the Mandalorian series has kind of built to a spot where it's about the Mandalorian tribes are being unified, and they've reclaimed their homeworld. And right now, what's her name? I can't remember at this point in time, but what's her name?
Bo-Katan?
Bo-Katan, thank you. Yes. Bo-Katan is kind of the appointed ruler. People have chosen to follow her even though the Darksaber's gone. Sabine, in the Rebels show, had claimed the Darksaber. She gave it to Bo-Katan, and then we learned in both in the Mandalore show that because of that, people distrust her because she didn't earn it, right? And then Mandalore got destroyed, and people blame her and don't want to follow her, and yada 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 yada. Anyway, Sabine, it really feels like there's a potential that Sabine could become Mandalore. Like, if they're going to kind of push the storyline for Mandalorians in the future, that Sabine's kind of got a spot there to potentially rule Mandalore. Anyway, I thought that was kind of a potentially interesting storyline. I like it better than Bo-Katan ruling, because she's had her shot. She screwed it up. Sabine's kind of not a child anymore. Like, when she gave Bo-Katan the lightsaber, she was a very young adult, right? So now she's older. And in the future, she'll be even kind of trained by a Jedi. She's got some wisdom and even more skills, and like, nobody's going to be able to touch her combat wise. I don't know. I think it's a really cool idea. I think that's where that Mandalorians as a people story should go, whether it's on screen or somewhere else.
I'm just done with the Mandalorian thing.
I'm not. You can hate on it all you want. I like the Mandalorians before Disney took over. I think I like the Mandalorians more prior to Disney's takeover. The Mandalorian culture was much more interesting prior to, but yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes and what Disney does with it, even though I don't have a lot of trust in them.
All right. So in a very calling back to the Phantom Menace, where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon says to the other Naboo, "We'll handle this," in reference to Darth Maul, Ahsoka tells Sabine and Ezra, "Go on, I'll handle this. I can handle this."
Yeah, I didn't catch that reference. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. And so they leave, and Ahsoka
there's that reference, but then there's also a callback here to Hu Yang telling Sabine and Ahsoka to stick together, and Ahsoka's "No, we stick together."
Yeah. Not Hu Yang. Morgan Elsbeth and Ahsoka start dueling.
This was a cool fight.
It was a cool fight.
I like this fight. It was better than the last time they fought, where Morgan had the staff.
Yes. And Sabine and Ezra run off and start getting their asses handed to them by some stormtroopers. Really getting their asses handed to them. It's not good.
Yeah. They're Dark Knight troopers or something.
But the scene all kind of culminates with Sabine being sans lightsaber pushed up against a wall, kind of in a chokehold, and using the Force to retrieve her lightsaber and kill the stormtrooper in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. I guess it was very predictable. It's very predictable that was what, the second you see the lightsaber on the ground and she's there and you're like, okay, you gotta Luke in the Wampa cave this thing.
Yeah. We get a good look at what's under the helmet here too.
Yep.
These are very dead stormtroopers.
Oh yes. Yeah. They've
been dead for a while.
Deteriorated considerably. And Ahsoka is in a little bit of trouble. She's fighting Morgan, but then also a bunch of stormtroopers show up, and so she's kind of getting pushed back, and there's a little bit of trouble. And the ship is taking off. The Star Destroyer is taking off, and Sabine and Ezra are standing there looking at the ship departing. And we get our Lord of the Rings reference.
Just throw me.
Yeah. I can't make the jump. You gotta toss me.
Yeah.
Don't tell the elf. And so yeah, that's what happens is Ezra goes and jumps and Sabine pushes him.
Push. Yeah.
And good on Ezra to trust her, because I'm not sure I would have. There's a lot riding on the person who isn't very good with the Force, right?
Yeah.
And so, excuse me, still have I don't have COVID, but it's like crap in my system. And so he pushes her, and then it's Sabine's turn. But Sabine turns around and sees that Ahsoka is now up on the same platform that they are and is getting her ass handed to her. And she's also doing the math. She's realizing that once she jumps up, the chances of Ahsoka getting out as well is, that essentially, and stick together. And stick together. So she turns her back from Ezra and begins to start fighting alongside Ahsoka. And
which they play this up as being like we don't know if Sabine leaves or not.
Right. And then once they're clear, Thrawn gives the command to just blast the temple. just destroy the temple, hopefully killing Sabine and Ahsoka along with it. Obviously, he's happy to sacrifice the already dead stormtroopers. I kind of wonder, does that magic have a tether? Like, is there a signal range on that
for the stormtroopers?
Yeah, like once they make the jump, would they all just collapse back down anyways?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. And so Ahsoka and Sabine go running and seemingly jump off the cliff, but in a Back to the Future DeLorean on the rooftop kind of way, hop onto the top of the ship that Hu Yang has miraculously repaired in record time. Record time.
Good for him.
Good Lord, give this man a medal. Give him Chewie's medal.
I mean,
Chewie didn't get one. And
he got a ship just behind the scenes.
And so they hop in the ship and they go flying after. They put all, in a very Iron Man way, they put everything they've got into the thrusters.
Yeah.
So that they can, the references are just all over the place. Forget the shields. Hell with the shields. And so they go speeding after Thrawn. And Thrawn opens up a communication channel with Ahsoka and goes, Ahsoka, blah, blah, blah. I knew your master. Victory is mine. I'm sorry you made the trip for nothing. And good hustle, but we're never going to meet each other because I'm leaving you here to die now. And they make the jump. And Ahsoka and Sabine are thrown a little bit off course.
Can we just pause on Thrawn's little monologue here? I did really enjoy this.
Sure.
Like, because Thrawn is a villain that Star Wars needs right now, right? Because for 9
I disagree,
films,
and I'll tell you why in a minute.
9 films, the villain has always been Palpatine. And don't get me wrong, Palpatine's a great villain. But Thrawn is the villain we need right now because he is like a gentle, he's a different villain than Palpatine, and he's scary in different ways than Palpatine. Like Palpatine was kind of like comically villainous almost. Like power, more power, kind of they're alive kind of villain, you know? Where Thrawn is like cold, calculating, but still a gentleman, and he's eloquent, and he's like he's tactical down to the millimeter, the millisecond. Like he's just scary in those ways, right? Like he's not afraid to sacrifice 2 TIE fighters if it gives him 5 more minutes. He's not afraid to sacrifice 20 stormtroopers to slow down the Jedi. Like he knows it's not going to stop them. He just needs time. And he'll make little sacrifices knowing that it will ultimately let him win. And that's pretty freaking scary. And this monologue kind of talks about, like, he kind of shows some of that. He's like, so I'm sorry we weren't able to meet in person. Everything he's saying here, he's not being facetious or trying to rub it in her face. He's kind of like, he means what he's saying. He wished he would have met her and been able to kind of get to know her a little bit more personally, because the way he wins battles is by knowing his opponent. And he would have liked to get to know her better. And he calls her like a Ronin, and maybe this is where you belong because the galaxy you come from there's no place for you. And yeah, it's a great little monologue, I think, to kind of showcase who Thrawn is, which is the sad part. Because Thrawn is such a great character, we got so little of him here, And this whole season just seemed to be a setup for something in the future.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Anyway, you were at they escape.
Yeah, they get thrown off course and kind of have a shit. And we see them head back to the turtle people, who are very excited to see them. And they kind of get a little bit of a kick out of that as well. And I guess they just live with turtle people now. And
yeah. Till the Star Whales come back to take them home.
Yeah. And you do get your you get your owl.
Yeah. This was, took a whole season.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this, oh shoot, what is it called? Not Mugwai. Mugwai is from Gremlins. Morai. I think it's Morai. The Morai owl. And maybe this is like a good place for it to show up, because it always shows up where as kind of a confirmation to let Ahsoka know she's where she needs to be, or to let somebody else know that Ahsoka should be here, or like when Ezra's in the World Between Worlds and Rebels, he sees the Morai standing over a gate. He sees and in the gate he sees Ahsoka fighting Darth Vader, and he rescues Ahsoka. So the Morai kind of tells him like, Ahsoka's here and she needs you to do something. So Ahsoka seeing it here is maybe kind of confirmation that, like, you're where you need to be right now.
Yeah. So
kind of cool. Yeah. I still think it should have been seen earlier as kind of a setup for a payoff, for this payoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Anyway,
then we see Shin. Shin has shown up. She's like, oh, okay, well, I'm craving power, and power is my only goal, and I can't have power if I don't have people to boss around. And so she's going to go be the leader of the bandits, or at least that's her plan. We see Balin. Balin is standing adjacent, looking across to some giant Lord of the Rings statues. There's your Lord of the Rings thing again.
This these are, this is the father and the son, and the head of the daughter is missing.
No, it's the Lord of the Rings.
They look, but
I know it's from that.
It's
like
important.
3-episode
kind of,
story arc. Yeah,
it's telling as to kind of potentially what he's longing for.
Well, it's important because it's the only resolution that we get for Balin.
Yeah.
Then we see Ezra arrive in his ship. Somehow he's escaped and stolen a craft. We skip over all of that because to hell with the fans and to hell with congruent storytelling. He's just all of a sudden he's on Hera's ship, and the moron. Okay, obviously you put on a stormtrooper outfit in order to escape the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
Great. Why walk off this shuttle on this ship still in stormtrooper gear, you moron?
Because tension.
Because tension. Everyone gets their guns out, and much to Ezra's luck, nobody blasts him in the face.
Yeah,
and
nobody's got an itchy trigger finger, especially after the last time a random shuttle landed on a ship. 2 Jedi slaughtered everybody.
Yeah. Chopper goes over, goes, hang on, aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?
My sensor readings know exactly who you are.
Yeah, and Ezra takes off his helmet, and Hera goes, Ezra? And Ezra says, I'm home. I left our other 2 friends in another galaxy, and they were going to die, but I'm home. And so it's whatever, good moment for them. We cut back to Sabine and Ahsoka, who are with the turtle people, and Sabine senses something. She's staring off into the distance. She senses something, but she's kind of like...
Ahsoka's first standing off to the distance. She approaches Ahsoka.
And Sabine walks up and obviously it looks like Ahsoka's looking at something. We just don't know what it is. Sabine doesn't know what it is, but Sabine senses there's something there and then doubts herself and goes, nothing. And we cut back to Ahsoka, and now we're able to see what it is that Ahsoka could see, which is the Force Ghost. The actual first time we've seen Force Ghost, Anakin Skywalker, in his long hair, how he would have appeared at the end of Return of the Jedi. And they kind of smile, and he kind of smiles, and the credits roll. Now, listen. Here's the reason why I don't think that Thrawn is the villain we need right now. And it's the same reason that I am done with Star Wars that takes place between the beginning of Phantom Menace and the end of Rise of Skywalker. I'm done. I mean, I'm going to keep watching it because it's Star Wars. We got to review it. We got to and it's Star Wars. But I'm emotionally no longer invested. I'm not excited. I want this to either pick the new Rey movie. Let's just move forward, or give me like the old, like the origins of the Force. Like go so far back in time.
Go Old
type
Republic.
Of thing.
Old
Go
Republic
super old.
or post.
And here's the
trilogies.
reason. Here's the reason. Because obviously this whole big thing is setting up Thrawn for the film. Thrawn's going to be the big villain of the film that culminates all of the Mandalorian stuff. But because this is happening in a time period between films, either A, Thrawn as a threat can't become all that big, or it's going to become very big, in which case it just creates this weird kind of continuity thing, because why is Thrawn's return and the ramifications of Thrawn's return never mentioned once in the sequel trilogy? Well, the answer is because when they wrote the sequel trilogy, they didn't know this is what they were going to do. It wasn't, the plans weren't there, the script, the whatever, and I get that. But then from a story congruent, making it make sense, making it be believable, right? I wouldn't put any money on this, but I do think that there is a chance, a very reasonable chance, that all this is going to, that ultimately, obviously, they're going to defeat Thrawn. But that something that Thrawn does, I think it's very possible that the final moments of that film, you see that because of Thrawn's actions, we see the birth, the rise of this new sect called the First Order.
Oh, absolutely. Like all of what's happening here with Thrawn and
it's just setting it up.
Mandalorian, all it's doing is explaining the rise of the First Order and the return of Palpatine.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so the fact that
as a counterpoint, like this is what the prequel trilogy essentially did.
No, for sure, but it also wasn't like, but they didn't introduce, like it was okay in the original trilogy that we never hear mention of Darth Maul, because Darth Maul's not relevant. Darth Maul didn't do anything that it really impacts the original trilogy. Same with Dooku. Doesn't matter. Right. We get a reference to the Clone Wars, but it doesn't matter. Someone, like, it's done, it's over, it doesn't matter. But Thrawn returning, and if Thrawn is the one who, like, if once Thrawn is back in our galaxy, he forms his group, he's like, well, the Empire is basically destroyed, it's done, it's over, it's whatever. So we're going to have if Thrawn is the one that names it the First Order, if that's his, it starts out as like a battalion of his, then the fact that in the sequel trilogy, There's no mention of the big threat that happened with Thrawn. There's no mention of Thrawn being the one that led to the First Order. There's no mention of, just at one point someone says, like, things haven't been the same since, we lost all hope of our new republic when Thrawn returned, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get why it's not there, because it couldn't have been, because they didn't know. But this is the problem with telling stories and introducing massive threats and big events in the middle of a timeline that already exists. Just move forward. Move forward, tell new stories, or go so far back that it is so far disconnected from what we know that it doesn't matter anymore. That's just my personal, that's why I'm done. That's fine. And that's fine.
Yeah. So, and my biggest disagreement here is because the original trilogy, the only thing about the sequels that you hear about is that short, very brief conversation that Obi-Wan has with Luke about his father. We served together in the Clone Wars. And then in the next episode, he was the Anakin and Darth Vader was your father. No, sorry, that would have been Return of the Jedi. He was your father. And I told from a certain point of view, I didn't lie to you, right? Very brief lines, which at the time meant nothing, and then, with the Clone Wars reference anyway. But then during the sequel trilogy, they took that and they decided the Clone Wars will be the main story for the second episode that drives the story forward. It will be the main thing, the main problem. And even that wasn't till the very end, right? Like in terms of the Clone Wars, it really wasn't part of the film. Right, it wasn't till the end of the third act that the clones were even in action. Right, so
where are you going with this?
My point is, Thrawn can be a massive threat to the galaxy, and then in the sequel Disney trilogy, they don't have to mention him because that threat is done. It's not the current problem. The story's not about Thrawn. The story is about the current problem. They don't have to talk about what happened in the past.
No, but if the First Order and everything they're fighting and the fact that Palpatine's able to return, if all of that is as a result of Thrawn, then it is connected. Either way, it's even if he's a big threat.
If Thrawn is dead or removed from the galaxy again, whatever that looks like, then it doesn't matter.
Even if it's a big
if he starts the First Order, and then he's killed by someone, right? Let's say him and Ezra kill each other in a final duel, right? Well, he's no longer a threat. We don't have to talk about him and how he started the First Order.
Agree.
The First Order's still there and a problem.
I agree.
And even in the sequel trilogy, the First Order isn't considered a threat yet. In the first movie, like Leia has to create the Resistance because of the bureaucracy of the New Republic. Right. The New Republic is doing fine. The New Republic doesn't have any problems. It's just a bureaucratic mess. And Leia, knowing that there are threats out there that the New Republic isn't handling, has to create the Resistance to fight them. Because the New Republic doesn't see them as threats.
Even if it's a big threat and they do it well and that all makes sense, at the end of the day, it'll be a big threat with minimal stakes because we already know what. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we already know where the state of the galaxy is going to end up. We already know. And so that's just why I'm like, if you're going to do prequel stuff or stuff that happens in the middle, then I don't do stuff that happens in the middle. If you're going to do prequel stuff, go way the hell back. Way the hell back. Right?
Then why the original trilogy, though? The original trilogy is still great, even though you know where it's going. Because it's not about where it's going. It's about the journey, how it gets there.
Yeah. Anyways, we got to wrap this up. So, Carl, was this episode a win or a fail for you?
This episode's a bit of a meh. I was expecting more closure on some storylines. I think I was expecting Thrawn to escape. So that wasn't that wasn't a letdown, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm left hanging. And more than I should have. So, but there were a lot of kind of fun moments that kind of helped push the episode forward. Overall, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence on this episode. As a series as a whole,
yeah,
scale of
0 to 10. Scale of 0 to 10, Ahsoka season 1 as a whole.
I'd probably say 6.5, maybe 7. It just felt like too much setup and not enough forward momentum right on its own. Like, yeah. Okay. Like we should have spent less time. Like the first 3 episodes probably could have been boiled down into maybe 1 episode or 2 episodes. Right. We could have spent more time with Balin trying to figure out, learning about his motives and goals.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
Episode was a fail. And the series as a whole, I gave a 4.5. Because it's a series about nothing. It's a series about nothing.
It's a series about Ahsoka coming to terms with her master being Darth Vader.
I guess. And a bunch of other stuff trickled in between.
And a bunch of other setup for future projects.
Major letdown based on the first couple episodes and the hype that I felt. So, yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all listed below. Check out our Patreon page, where as little as $1 a month, you can support the show and get some fun perks in return. And we have a merch page.
There are products you can buy, like hats. We don't even have a toque, do we? Is there a toque? There is.
And
there's
until next time.
Cold weather's coming. Get yourself a toque.
Get a toque. A toque or a beanie, a scully, depending on where you know. Yeah. Yeah. That way when you rob a bank,
you look good doing it.
You at least look good doing it.